Right now, I'm pleased to be joined by the Managing Director of the South African Banking Council. He's also the President of the International Union of Housing Federation. That's Mr. Cassim Coovadia. Mr. Coovadia, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure, good to be here.
Now, you've been attending, of course, you've been a regular at these events for over many years now. Is the World Economic Forum just another talk shop?
No, I don't think it's just another talk shop. I think what I find useful about the World Economic Forum is the way it's organized. The fact that you know quite a long time beforehand who's attending. You get information about that. There's an electronic platform through which you can actually arrange meetings and ensure that you meet people. So I think it's a very effective and very well-coordinated networking forum. Over and above that, you obviously have the debates and the inputs on current international issues in the economy and in the political side of things. So I think that it's not just another talk shop, particularly because I think it's a very good medium for networking, for one-on-one meetings that then get followed up beyond WEF.
Now, of course, coming to the focus of this year's conference, delivering on Africa's promise. Improving infrastructure to unlock trade and accelerate economic growth across the continent. Now, we all know there can be no trade without finance. You, the money man, are at the center of most of these things. What is your experience in terms of the backlogs that we're facing and how those should be financed? Of course, also bearing in mind your other head being the president of the International Union of Housing Finance. Whenever we're talking about financial services, we think about banking, but of course housing and social services are very much at the center of finance. What is your take on what's happening right now around the continent with regards to the need for finance?
Well, look, I don't need to repeat, but I will, that Africa is the new frontier, okay? If you look at international global growth compared to African growth, Africa is doing pretty well, and Africa will continue to do pretty well. Having said that, there are a number of challenges. If you look at just South Africa on its own, the government has announced a significant infrastructure rollout program. We've got the National Development Plan that talks about various aspects that we need to actually achieve to put us onto a sustainable growth path and to a relevantly high growth path to meet the challenges we have. So I think that the role of the financial sector is to work with government, work with other parts of the economy, to see how we can, right from the beginning, collaborate to put into place the appropriate partnerships and mechanisms to ensure that infrastructure is rolled out in a way that is sustainable, in a way that actually delivers what it's supposed to deliver. And I think that what the trick here is to have that sort of collaboration right from the beginning, for governments to understand that the private sector needs to have a return from its investment, for the private sector to understand that the return needs to be a long-term return, and also for banks, for instance, what we can do is even in those areas of infrastructure that are of a social nature, we can certainly bring to the table a whole lot of skills, project management skills, finance skills, transaction skills. So it's not just about financing. We certainly can, together with long-term institutional financiers, finance those and participating in the finance of those infrastructure programs that have an income stream and can give us a return. But we can also bring skills to bear into those infrastructure projects that are purely social in nature, and that should be primarily financed by governments. So I think it's those sorts of collaborations that are necessary. In South Africa, we're certainly starting to talk to government departments, to state-owned institutions about that sort of collaboration on some parts of the infrastructure program, and we will continue to do that.
Now, in closing, we see as we begin this conference that South Africa at the moment is involved in a very concerted effort to improve relations with Nigeria, the other economic giant on the continent, of course. We've got South African banks operating in Nigeria, Standard Bank and so on. What is your take? How do you feel about what is happening right now to strengthen the trade and business relations between South Africa and Nigeria?
Now, I think a good relationship between South Africa and Nigeria is critical. I think these are two powerhouses of the continent. I think one of the challenges we have is intra-African trade, which is still very low, and we need to develop that. And I think that a sound relationship and good interaction, both business-wise, economics-wise, and political-wise, between the two critical players on the continent has got to be good for the continent. I think that we will, as countries, compete on the continent as well and compete globally, but there are a whole range of platform-type issues, if you like, that we need to cooperate on to put those into place, of the base of which we can actually compete, but we can also collaborate on a whole range of issues.
Mr. Coovadia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.